Hi there, this is Panika for Thomann synthesizers. In the last video we built ourselves a nice small Eurorack setup with module suggestions especially for beginners. In this video I would like to show you more advanced modules like Mutli FX modules, a sampler and a texture synthesizer to make the setup more interesting to work with and to expand its capabilities. There are of course many more exciting modules out there to choose from, but if I would show you all of my favorites we wouldn't be finished in several hours, I'm afraid. So let's get started. For me, adding effects to any sound is pretty essential to sculpt the sound the way I want, to add character and depth. No doubt choosing a sound source and an envelope generator are fundamental, but effects are like the spice on top. It can make the sound all in all so much more interesting and unique in my opinion. For that reason, I really like to have a module in my system that has multiple effects included. The Black Hole DSP2 module by Erica Synths is a good choice because it has a nice selection of reverbs, delays, chorus, flanger, phaser, and even a bit crusher included, and it simply sounds good to my ears. Next off, I would include a sampler module into our system, first and foremost because I love working with field recordings in my music. Be it some ambience that runs in the background or the sound of a window closing that I want to use as a kick drum, I just really love to combine those with synthesizer sounds. Another reason is that you can layer different recordings of the same module on top of each other, like an octave higher or an additional melody for example, without having to add a second unit of that module to your system. And last but not least, a sampler broadens the sound palette of your modular system just by adding recordings of any instrument you wish to it. The Bitbox Micro module by 1010 Music can play up to 8 stereo samples simultaneously by using the touchscreen, CV or MIDI. You can load your samples by using a micro SD card or by recording your sound straight into the module, and you can even resample the master output without patching anything at all. It can send out a master clock signal, but you can also sync it to other modules, and it also has a built-in reverb, delay and compressor included. It's very well thought through and doesn't take up too much space in your system. An alternative sampler I'd like to mention here is the Morphagene by Make Noise. It's an experimental module that works part like a tape deck and part like a granular processor, with which you can create new sounds out of existing samples that you loaded in by using a micro SD card or that you recorded directly into the module. It's huge fun to play around with and to explore sampling in a new way. Another module that I use very often is the Beats module by Mutable Instruments. It's the successor of the Clouds module that some of you might know already, and it's a stereo granular audio processor with all the usual parameters like grain size, density, time and pitch for example. The module can also be used as a delay and stutter effect, and it also has its own reverb algorithm on board that sounds pretty good too. It has a wavetable oscillator included with 8 internal wavetable banks to choose from, which I myself use regularly. Another fantastic feature are the attenuate randomizers, which are attenuators as the name already says, but with a random generator integrated, which is being activated when no patch cable is plugged into the according jack, which is a fantastic feature. All in all, it's a great addition to any Eurorack system and I can highly recommend it. Let's get to the next module, which again combines several effects in one. The Orbit module by Noidside Instruments is a high-quality sound design module that can transform a rather simple signal into a complex, texture-rich and also aggressive sound. It includes a bit crusher, a harmonizer with up to 5 oscillators, a multi-mode filter, an envelope generator with an LFO included, and also an input mixer with 2 inputs and 2 VCAs. It is pretty crazy how drastically you can shape your sounds with this module into something new and unique. next module has a pretty special sound to it. It may not be for everyone, but I still wanted to show it to you so you can decide for yourself. It's the effects section from the Lyra 8 synthesizer built into this Eurorack module, and it's basically a dual delay with a distortion unit included. You can create pretty wild sounds with it, especially when you use the self-modulation and cross-feedback of the delay lines. From the more crunchy, wild and lo-fi sounds of the Lyra 8 effect to the Starlab module from Strymon, which is a lush, high-quality reverb that can create beautiful cinematic soundscapes. It has 3 reverb types that you can choose from: sparse, dense and diffuse, as well as a shimmer effect, a filter, a harmonics and delay section, an internal LFO to modulate different parameters of the module with, and even more features which I just can't list all here. It's pretty hard for me not to overdo it with this module, as I haven't heard a more gorgeous reverb in Eurorack format yet. But especially effects are of course a matter of taste, so listen for yourself. Another Strymon module worth mentioning is Magneto, a tape delay and looper. It has 4 playback and 1 recording head that you can use creatively, and it has 3 operating modes that you can use: echo, sound-on-sound looper and phrase sampler. It has a spring reverb included and also controls for tape-like mechanics and sounds like tape age, crinkle, low cut and wow and flutter. And again, it just sounds warm, saturated and beautiful to my ears, but it's not the cheapest option for that kind of effect, so that's something to consider for sure. An alternative stereo delay that I use intensively is the Mimeophone module by Make Noise. It also has additional features included, like a freeze option to hold the current audio loop, a reverse delay function, a stereo width control and a filter. But I like it the most for its immediate interface. It's just very much fun to play live with it. So I hope you like this video. If you have any more module suggestions, tips or questions, please let me know down below in the comments. I'm very curious what you think. Bye!